Have you ever pushed yourself so far that your muscles burned and your head felt heavy, yet nothing seemed to pay off? You gave everything you had, day after day, but progress never showed up. Maybe you trained relentlessly, repeating the same routines for hours, hoping one more attempt would finally make a difference. Maybe you listened to every tip, followed every method people recommended, and still found yourself stuck in the same place. And late at night, a painful question crept in. Is something wrong with me? Why does success feel like it's meant for everyone else but me? Here's a reality most people never talk about. Effort alone, without proper direction, can trap you in an endless loop. It's like standing in front of a locked gate with the wrong key in your hand. You can twist it again and again, pour all your strength into it, but the gate will never move. If you've ever felt like you were struggling uphill by yourself, carrying a weight no one else could see, then this story was made for you. Because long ago, there was a young man who trained harder than anyone around him, yet failed time after time, until a single encounter transformed his entire path. Stay with me until the very end. In a remote village hidden between towering mountains, there lived a 23-year-old man named Daniel. From the moment he woke up to the second he fell asleep, one ambition ruled his thoughts: to become a powerful martial artist and defend those who had no strength to defend themselves. This dream was born from pain. Daniel's father had been a simple farmer, an honest man who lost his life when ruthless bandits raided their village. At the time, Daniel was only 12, small, untrained, and helpless, forced to watch, knowing he had no power to stop it. That moment carved a promise into his heart, one that would shape everything that followed. That memory followed him into his sleep every night. No matter how tired he was, the past refused to stay silent. So Daniel made a vow to his father and to himself. He swore he would grow strong. He swore he would never stand powerless again. For the next 3 years, he trained in complete solitude, deep in a small forest clearing behind his home. Before the sun ever touched the sky, Daniel was already there. He struck a rough wooden pole again and again until his hands split and bled. He sprinted up steep mountain trails with heavy stones pressed against his chest. He dropped to the ground for push-ups, continuing long after his arms shook, long after his muscles failed him. The villagers noticed his discipline. Some spoke with admiration. "That boy works harder than anyone I've ever seen." But there was another, quieter voice among them, one filled with doubt. "If he works so hard," they murmured, "why doesn't he get any better?" 3 long years passed, years filled with sweat, pain, and uncountable hours of effort. And yet, Daniel was still no stronger than before. When he sparred with other students at the village training ground, they defeated him without effort. When he tried to apply the techniques he had practiced alone, they fell apart. His movements were awkward. His strikes lacked force. His guard was full of openings. Night after night, Daniel returned home bruised, sore, and emotionally broken. Nothing made sense to him. He trained longer than everyone else. He woke earlier. He pushed himself harder. He never quit. So why was he still losing? Often his mother would find him sitting alone in the darkness, staring down at his battered, scar-covered hands. His voice would drop to a whisper. "Maybe I'm just not gifted," he said one night. "Maybe strength is something you're born with, and I wasn't." She knelt beside him, resting a gentle hand on his shoulder. "My son," she said softly, "you have the heart of a warrior." Then, after a pause, she added, "You simply haven't discovered the right path yet." But Daniel couldn't accept her words. After 3 long years of effort with nothing to show for it, doubt had taken root inside him. He began to wonder if hard work was just a comforting story people told themselves, to make failure sound honorable instead of painful. One crisp autumn morning, the village prepared for its annual martial arts exhibition. It was a public event where students from every training school would perform their techniques and spar before a crowd. Daniel decided this would be his turning point. This would be the day everything changed. He had prepared for months. He memorized every movement. He drilled each form until he could perform them in his sleep. He had thrown thousands upon thousands of strikes. This time, he told himself, it will be different. But the moment Daniel stepped onto the wooden platform, his confidence shattered. The first form, one he had practiced endlessly in solitude, looked stiff and uncertain under the eyes of the crowd. His timing was off. His body felt heavy. His movements lacked flow and power. Murmurs spread through the audience. 3 years of training, and this is it? So much effort, and still no skill. Talent matters more than hard work. Each whisper cut deeper than any blow. Then came the sparring match. Daniel was paired with a student who had trained for barely 6 months. The match began and ended almost instantly. Within half a minute, Daniel was slammed to the ground. Defeated, exposed, humiliated in front of everyone he had ever known. As rain began to fall, Daniel walked home alone. His demonstration uniform clung to him, soaked and streaked with mud. The village felt silent, as if even the air had turned away from him. When he reached home, the house was empty. No lights, no voices, just quiet. He sat down on the floor, and for the first time in 3 years, he broke. Not from physical pain, but from despair. I gave everything, he whispered into the stillness. I lost sleep. I endured pain. I never quit. His voice cracked, and it meant nothing. Through blurred eyes, Daniel stared at the wooden training post outside, scarred, splintered, and worn down by thousands of his strikes. And in that moment, even it seemed to mock him. Do you understand the difference now? The master gestured toward the shattered stone. The first one broke, he continued. Not because of strength alone, but because the force was directed properly, focused, controlled, delivered at the exact angle it required. Then he pointed to the second stone, still intact. This one survived, even though I used more power. Why? Because that power was scattered and wasted. Master Chen turned his gaze toward Daniel. For the past 3 years, he said calmly, you have lived like that second stone. You pour in maximum effort, but with minimal understanding. You wake before dawn, yet you practice techniques that are flawed. You train for endless hours, but you repeat errors that weaken your body instead of refining it. You endure pain, but pain without growth is nothing more than suffering. He paused, letting the words sink in. Effort alone will never save you. When hard work is aimed in the wrong direction, it doesn't make you better. It makes you more skilled at doing things incorrectly. Something inside Daniel cracked open. For 3 long years, he had believed the problem was himself, that he simply lacked talent. It had never crossed his mind that the path he was following was fundamentally wrong. In a low voice, he asked, "Will you teach me?" Then he added, almost pleading, "Teach me the right way." Master Chen studied him in silence for a long moment. "I can," he said at last, "but you must understand this first. Learning correctly is far more difficult than continuing to train incorrectly. Because before you can learn," the master went on, "you must erase what you think you already know. You must return to the state of a beginner. Tell me, can your pride survive that?" Daniel sank to his knees. "My pride," he said quietly, "has already been shattered. I have nothing left to defend. Please, teach me." Master Chen gave a slow nod. "Then we begin now," he said. "And remember this well, 6 months of proper training will take you further than 3 years of misguided effort." He looked Daniel straight in the eyes, "But only if you trust the process, even when it feels uncomfortable, confusing, or like you're moving backward." Training under Master Chen began the very next morning, and almost immediately, Daniel realized how serious the master's words had been. "Stop," Master Chen said after Daniel's very first attempt. "Everything you just did is incorrect." Daniel froze. For the entire first week, he wasn't allowed to strike anything at all. No punches, no kicks, no techniques. Instead, he stood still, just standing, learning how to balance his body, control his breathing, and feel where his weight truly rested. Confused, Daniel finally asked, "Master, I've trained for 3 years. Why am I being taught how to stand?" Master Chen answered calmly, "A structure built on a fragile base will always fall. Before strength, we must repair your foundation." The second week, Daniel learned how to walk properly. Not faster, not harder, but with intention, how to shift his weight, how to move without wasting energy. In the third week, he was taught to coordinate his breath with every movement. Nothing flashy, nothing impressive, just control. By the fourth week, Master Chen finally allowed him to strike. Daniel threw a single punch and immediately felt disappointed. It felt weak, uncomfortable, completely unfamiliar. "This feels wrong," Daniel said. "Good," Master Chen replied. "That means you are no longer doing it the wrong way. Your body resists because it remembers bad habits." Some days, Daniel felt as if he was regressing. The old techniques, incorrect as they were, felt stronger than these new ones, more explosive, more satisfying. He nearly quit more than once. Each time, Master Chen reminded him, a seed appears lifeless before it breaks the soil. Trust what you cannot yet see. By the third month, something shifted. Without realizing it, Daniel's movements began to feel natural, effortless. And when he returned to the village training ground, he noticed something else. The students who once overwhelmed him were now struggling to keep up. In the fourth month, real power emerged, not because Daniel used more strength, but because every ounce of energy was finally going where it belonged. He was putting in less effort, yet achieving far greater results. By the fifth month, something unthinkable happened. Other students began approaching him for guidance. The same ones who had laughed at him half a year earlier now watched him with quiet respect. In the sixth month, Master Chen arranged a rematch. Daniel would face the same student who had humiliated him at the public demonstration. This time, the fight was completely different. Daniel moved smoothly, like flowing water. Each strike was accurate, each defense economical. He wasted no motion, no breath. In under a minute, his opponent surrendered, exhausted from battling someone who never fought against himself. Afterward, the defeated student approached Daniel, stunned. "How did you change so much in only 6 months?" he asked. "I've trained for 2 years, and I still can't beat you." Daniel glanced toward Master Chen, who met his eyes with a quiet smile. "The difference," Daniel said, "is that I spent 3 years discovering what doesn't work, and 6 months committing to what does." He paused. Hard work only creates results when it's directed at the right things. And for the first time, Daniel truly understood what strength meant. 2 years later, Daniel built something of his own, a training school founded on the lessons that had reshaped his life. Above the doorway, carved into the wood for every student to see, were words Master Chen once told him. "Effort without direction is like sailing without a compass. You may keep moving, but you'll never arrive where you intend to go." And here's the truth. Daniel's journey isn't unique. It's your story. It's my story. It's the story of anyone who has given everything they had, worked relentlessly, and still felt stuck in the same place. This is what Daniel finally understood. Hard work matters, but effort by itself is incomplete. It is necessary, yes, but on its own, it is not enough. You can spend 10 years practicing the piano with poor technique and never produce music that touches a soul. Or you can spend a single year under the right guidance and play something that brings people to tears. You can run every day for months and slowly destroy your body if your form is wrong. Or you can learn proper technique and grow stronger while using less energy, not more. So remember these 3 lessons. First, if you are working hard and seeing no progress, the problem is not your dedication. The problem is your approach. You don't need longer hours, you need better direction. Second, the right teacher isn't the one who demands more effort from you. The right teacher is the one who stops you and says, "This part is wrong, fix this first." And that guidance isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it means slowing down when you want to rush ahead. Sometimes it means starting over when you feel you're already too far in. And sometimes it means doing less so you can finally do things correctly. Because real progress doesn't come from exhaustion, it comes from alignment. And once effort and direction move together, even small actions begin to create extraordinary results. Third, and this may be the most important lesson of all, there is no shame in asking for help. Every great master in history was once a student. Seeking guidance is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of intelligence and humility. So here's what I want you to do. Look honestly at the part of your life where you are putting in real effort, yet seeing little to no progress. Maybe it's your career. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a skill you've been trying to master. Maybe it's your relationships. Then ask yourself a difficult but powerful question. Am I working hard, but in the wrong direction? And now comes the most critical step. Find someone who has already achieved what you are struggling to reach. A mentor, a coach, a teacher, someone with enough distance to see what you cannot. Because when you're deep inside your own struggle, blind spots are inevitable. Understand this. Your effort was never wasted. Every hour you invested mattered. It taught you discipline. It built resilience. And most importantly, it showed you what doesn't work. That means you're not behind. You're prepared. Because now you're ready to learn what does work. The right teacher doesn't simply demand more from you. The right teacher gives your effort direction, so your hard work finally produces results. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt like Daniel, giving everything you had while standing still, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Sometimes people don't need motivation. They need permission. Permission to ask for help. Permission to stop struggling alone. Permission to understand that seeking guidance isn't quitting, it's leveling up. Leave a comment and tell me which area of your life needs the right teacher right now. Let's learn from one another. I'll be back soon with another story to help you grow. Until then, remember this: work hard, but work wisely. And never let pride stop you from learning. The right teacher is already out there. The only question is, are you ready to find them?